Hello, I'm doing something a little different today. I'm doing a video about how screwed up Martin Company is on their ukulele strings in their packaging. These are Martin ukulele strings, tenor strings, high G tuning. And I want to start off by saying they make really good ukulele strings, at least uh, the high G tuning ones. I use different strings for the different tunings that I use. If I'm getting a low G string, I tend to get like a Worth set or something along those lines because they have a warmer sound. But these are really nice for um, standard reentrant ukulele tuning. They're very crisp and snappy. Um, but their packaging is confusing as hell. And it's not just that. So I'm going to zoom in here, and I guess you can see um, they've got the A string, and I want you to pay attention to the gauge on the inch there. The A string is 220, the E string is 284, the C string is 340, and so on. Now you go to the individual packaging though, um, they've got it reversed. So this is the A string, or so they say, and they've got it on the individual package. It's listed as being 0.0251. On this package, it's 0.0220, and it's on the E string. They've got it 0.0284. On this packaging, they've got it 340. So, and to explain how the gauge is supposed to work, the thickness is basically the thickness of these strings, and essentially the mechanics of it is the lower the note that the string plays, the thicker the gauge is. So on the package, this is the way that should be. Your C string here is your lowest note, so it should be the highest. It should be that 340 or something close to that. Your A string is your highest pitch, so it's got the thinnest string there at 220. So if this package just says it's one width and the individual packaging says it's another, well, what is it? Well, unfortunately, this package actually has the right width as far as what's inside this alleged E string here. I happen to, because I'm a machinist and I have these tools sitting around, I have a micrometer, and I've had issues with, I had the same issue before with Martin strings, and I thought it was just a fluke. But I actually measured these strings. This E string is, alleged E string is actually 0.0340, which is to say that's the C string. The C string, on the other hand, is that they've got in this package is 0.0284 or close to it. That's the E string. Essentially, they've got these, in the individual packaging, they've got these strings reversed. And it's really confusing, especially with re-entrant tuning, because unlike a guitar where the lowest pitched string is going to be the thickest, and it just goes down the line, you know, thicker, smaller, 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 smaller. With the re-entrant tuning, the strings on the end, the G and the A, are smaller than the others. So you could easily string this up reversed and not realize what you're doing, not realize that it was wrong. And why does that matter? Because then you have strings that are at a higher tension than they're supposed to be, or they're at a lower tension that they're supposed to be, and they're not going to react right. It can affect intonation. As you get further up the fretboard, it could be out of tune because you don't really have the right string in there. And this is just, to me, this is maddening for Martin, which is such an iconic name, to be this wrong about this, to actually have, not only to have the wrong number on the package, but actually have the wrong strings in the stinking individual package. It's inexcusable. And if that wasn't confusing enough, there's another way you can screw this up, and that is the way they've listed on the package the strings, different strings, is the traditional way of listing them. And I'm going to turn this, I'm going to shut this off and turn this around so I can kind of show you this a little better. So this is a little soprano ukulele I've been trying to fix up. And traditionally, the way these strings are numbered is the bottom string is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, which is the way they have them listed on the main package. That is to say, this is A, this is E, this is C, this is G. On the individual packaging, it's reversed. So you have, it's hard for me to see what I'm looking at here. So you've got the G string here listed as number 1. So if you weren't confused before and you were just going by, well, number 1's the bottom, I don't know where to start and end on this. There's so many ways. They've screwed this up every way they possibly could. So I'm going to shut it off again for, well, actually I'll just keep going here since I've got the camera turned around. So you might be wondering, what's the big deal, Chris? I mean, you figured it out. Well, the thing is, I've been playing music for a while. I understand the mechanics of this, and I just happen to have the tools that most people are not going to have a micrometer happening to sit around here to measure your ukulele strings and make sure that Martin hasn't screwed it up. The reason it irritates me so much is that the ukulele is an instrument that a lot of people who've never played music before start out on. This is something that they're picking up. Well, I don't know if this is right for me, so I'll try the ukulele because it's not as intimidating as the guitar. So when they get strings from a company like Martin, who is just revered, they're assuming that they're not idiots. They're assuming that they're going to get this right, that they're going to be able to believe what's on the packaging, that if the packaging says it's a G string, they think, well, that must be right. It's Martin. They wouldn't screw that up. It's pretty simple. You either put the right strings in the package or you don't. But apparently this is too complicated for Martin. And given that this is the second time I've dealt with this, the first time I thought, well, maybe they just had one batch where they printed the wrong thing on it. No, they've been doing this for who knows how long. So I'm going to try contacting them and let them know that they're like totally screwed up and that we're onto them. And hopefully they'll get their act together, because they do make pretty good ukulele strings. I personally don't think they make a great ukulele, but that's just my opinion. But it's just maddening to have to fumble through here and measure the width of the string to make sure that they didn't totally screw this up, which they did. So, yeah. So, Martin, you have failed. Not in making a good product, but just totally misleading your people. And yeah, that's the end of my rant.